Welcome to a lion sunrise here in the middle of the African bush. And we are going to follow these lions. They look like they're on the hunt. There are 8 cubs playing all around us. And this is Safari Live.
Ready. Standing by.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are live, you are live.
Well, we have lion wars playing out around us, but this is the best kind of lion wars where no one gets hurt. It's cub on cub cuteness personified. Now we're with the Nkuhuma pride, our main pride of lions here, and they were roaring, and thanks to everyone who sent their updates. Fortunately, this morning they were roaring so loudly and so close to my house, I actually woke up at about 4:30 at the first roar. Good morning, my name is Brent Smith. I have a Dangerous Dave, the objectified dish, on camera, and we're with lions, yay! What a great way to start the sunrise safari. It has even made me feel better since James Henry has passed on his disease to me. But lion cubs seem to make one feel like nothing is wrong in the world. Look at those two there, up to absolute nonsense. Hi, guys. Quick swat to the face before departing. I see revenge on the cards. Now, just now, a lion and a lioness had a half-hearted attempt at chasing a hippopotamus, but the male lion, I saw him there, his intentions are more amorous than angry, so far more interested in getting lucky than eating a hippo. Although I think there's a good chance that that hippo might be caught by the lions as we head deeper and deeper into the drought. Just go back to the left, stay on those 2 cubs. Watch there, you can see, there we go. You can see them stalking the adult. Oh, pounce! Oh, isn't this just too wonderful? Well, let's get a little bit closer, see what's happening. As you can see, I've lost one mitten again, so I've stolen one of Jamie's gloves. Hello, you little monsters. Now, one of my favorite things about lion cubs as they get a bit older is their fascination with the tires. So as you drive, they watch the tires, and you can almost see their heads going round and round and round. Let me just move forward a second. Dave, just have a look to our right here. There's just so much going on everywhere. We've got cubs in trees. We've got mom playing with cubs, or one of the lionesses playing with cubs. Ooh, swatting cubs. Look at that. Look at the little one, still not too sure. Climbing up. Joining an older cousin. Sorry, 1 second, I just need to. It takes Nkuhuma's twin dams just to the south of Vuitela. Very nice. They're all climbing trees. make your way. Look at this, isn't that just too special? Oh, and there's the amorous male, and it looks to be, I'm not sure whether it's amber eyes or the youngest Nkuhuma lioness. Okay, so while we stay and see what happens with the lions, let's go say good morning to Uncle Steph.
Good morning, good morning. I'm jealous about those little lion cubs that you're looking at. And yes, it's Steph with Xander on the camera today. And that was a white-backed vulture that you were having a look at over there, silhouetted in the sun, or against the sky, against the rising sun at least anyway. Not too far from where you were with Brent. Probably about 400 yards or so. I can hear his voice booming out over the plains. We're on Buffalo's Hook Cut Line, and I just want to say hello. That's basically why we dragged you through here, and to show you that nice white-backed vulture. There was a kill in this area. I do know that the Nkuhumas have managed to inhale another buffalo just because it was there, and these vultures are probably waiting their turn around that carcass if it's not finished already. Can't see a huge crop on this particular vulture, evidenced by just underneath his neck, usually a pouch about as big as a tennis ball that can sometimes be seen. This particular vulture still needs to have breakfast. Long, featherless head, sticking back into the carcasses and all that sort of thing. There we go, balancing, wanting to get first there as soon as they can see what's going on. But anyway, let's send you back through to those lion cubs. I hear they are playing up a storm.
Oh, just disappeared. And off they go. They climb down from the fallen marula. But look at this. We're literally lions everywhere. So I can see 1, 2, 3 lionesses. Can you see any more, Dave? I can only see 3 adult. I might be. There we go. We've got 4, so only 1 missing. And then look at that male, Flemen grimacing. Now we are going to be completely spoilt. We're here really early, and it means that the lion's going to be very active. There's going to be lots of cub playing. Now, strangely enough, they look quite hungry. So I think those 2 buffalo they must have caught in Buffalo's Hook were very small, because I wasn't expecting to see lions for at least a day or 2. But of course, I'm very happy to be proven wrong and to be surrounded by the incredible Nkuhuma pride. Remember, this is a live African safari, and you can ask us questions by sending an email to questions@wildearth.tv, or you can use the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. Look at them go. Ow. Ow. I feel like talking to them myself. Oh, look, here comes the 5th lioness. She's jogging in. There she is. And it is one of the mothers. Oh, the cubs are going to rush to greet her. Incoming furballs. They just can't keep up with her. They're out. There we go. All 5 lionesses now, I think. Let's get back behind where they're all heading to. What a wonderful way to start the sunrise safari here on Djuma Private Game Reserve. And my illness has abated just due to the fact that I'm surrounded by the best little critters in the world. Hello, little monsters. Robin would like to know, how do we not wake up and get up in the middle of the night when we are awakened by the roar of predators? Well, Robin, fortunately in my case, I've been awakened by the roar of predators for the majority of my life. Just stay on them. I think that lioness is going to jump on the other one. She just looks like she's walking with quite a bit of intent. Or she's going to head nuzzle. There we go. Well, Robin, when they're calling, you know they're actually just calling. They're not up to much. For me, I really like it when they're on the hunt. So hopefully you guys are getting some incredible screenshots. If you are, please share them with us on our Facebook page. Oh, we're getting oh, there's a big game going on. There's too many places to look at the moment. Let's just turn the vehicle around so we can get that irritating aerial out of the way. It looks like they're about to head into the Mwati River. So I know you guys have just seen a vulture with Steph. Ali's wondering, would vultures ever bother the cubs? Very unlikely, Ali, because with the cubs comes mom, and a vulture I don't think would be brave enough. Okay, they are going to go into the Mwati River. And I'm just trying to remember what's my best access into this. Oh, I can hear a hyena calling in the distance, but at the moment I can hear more cubs, so there's more on their way. And here comes the amorous male, following what looks to be the youngest Nkuhuma lioness. So I've only seen one male this morning. Oh, there's some more coming in the distance there. Okay, it looks like they're all going to disappear into the Mwati River. And okay, I got a plan. Oh wait, we've still got a cub coming. Let's wait for that one. That's a big voice for a little guy. Probably the others are heading back to the north in the quarries. Okay, so they're going to disappear into this river system. I'm going to go try find a way to get in there. And while we do that, let's see how Uncle Steph's morning is going.
Our morning is going superb. Thank you very much, Brent. We're about to watch the sun come up through the trees out there in the distance. It's getting to that point where the sky becomes an impossible color, impossibly yellow or impossibly red. I don't quite know what it's going to be this morning, to be quite honest. It's so difficult to tell what type of sunrise you're going to have until literally a couple of seconds before it decides to poke its head up through the trees. I would imagine today will be slightly muted with the dust in the air. You can see that that glow from the sun is sort of spread out in a smudge. Now probably about as big as your fingernail. But there it's starting to get that yellow color. You can see that coming through there. As so often happens, the sun then just pokes its way through the trees. and gives us a nice view of the morning. I must be honest with you, for some reason today, the smells around here have just been absolutely magnificent. It's the first floral notes that I'm detecting on my nose this morning for the first time in quite a few months. The air is definitely not that spicy, dusty smell, that salty smell that we get out here in the winter time. This morning it's a lot more, I don't know, it's a lot more pleasant. But have a look at that sky, just now getting that yellow color. So I would say, let's take a guess that it's probably going to be quite a bright morning. Slight smudge to it. Have a look at that. Gaining in intensity, there you go. And the sun peeks up into the trees there. Good morning. See how quickly it rises up through the trees. Actually does so with dramatic effect. For those of you just joining us or for the first time visiting us, this is a live show, so what you're watching is what I'm watching, wherever you are on the planet. A couple of seconds after it goes in to the front of our camera and comes out of the screen, wherever you are. And don't forget that it's interactive. You can speak to me via the email questions@wildearth.tv or using the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter, and we'll try and answer as many questions as you can. If you don't have a question, just send through a comment as well. We love hearing about how you feel about it. Good morning, Ali. You say that when you see the sunrise, it makes you think of the Lion King. Okay. Coming from the fact that you've just seen some lions playing over there, I can imagine how it would have generated that feeling, Ali. But yes, it does. For some reason, the anticipation associated with the sunrise for me is always exciting. It's you don't know what's going to be around the next corner. We don't know what happened last night. Literally, it must be now 12 hours ago or so. The sun set, and that was the last time we were really in the bush. Lions kept us up most of the night, roaring their heads off until they were found this morning by Brent out at Voyatelepan. What we have in store for us throughout the day, who knows? But I can tell you one thing, the anticipation will change into relaxation, hopefully, by the time the sun sets with us this afternoon. And this time of the year, at least we get to watch sunrise. The sun set just before the end of the afternoon drive. Very nice horizon there. The sun is quite intense, I must be honest. So the atmosphere isn't actually as dirty as what I thought it was, giving us that yellow glow, but it's actually become too painful to look at. You can't directly look at it now without the sun having burned an image on my retina. When I'm blinking now, I have about 5 suns that I'm looking at. So I'm busy looking at the sunrise the same as you on the little screen that I have in the car. Can I ask Xana to go up to the moon? We're sharing the sunrise with a half a moon at the moment, if we can. Actually, I don't even know if this will tilt that far. Let's see if we can get it for you. It's actually quite spectacular at the moment. No. Oh, there we go. Just getting it into the screen. Half the moon. Beautiful sunrise. Not too much. We're at an extreme angle at the moment, and that is not allowing us to zoom in any more than that. So yes, that unfortunately is all we're going to be able to show you on the moon with that one. Xander's hanging over the side of the car over here trying to get the camera at the right angle. Anyway, I think it's a good idea for us to carry on moving down the road. We want to go and have a look at Buffelshoek Dam, see what's happened to that crusty hippo, and we'll catch up with you on that side. So back to the lions with Brent to go.
Look at this. Look at this. We got lions at sunrise, cubs right next to us making lots of noise. Ow! big voices for such little critters. So I did manage to see a second male, so there are still 2 males here. But there are Nkuhumas everywhere. Now Wendy's wondering, do the cubs go hunting with mom now? Is that why they play? Well, they don't, Wendy. They'll be left behind during hunts. But playing is practice for the big leagues, and all the playing and jumping and leaping and tripping is all practice to when they become adults and will start hunting. So they're now about 5 or 6 feet from the car. They are just too wonderful. Literally, there's so many places to look at the moment. I don't know where to look. Okay, we're now surrounded by cubs. Look at this, they're just everywhere.
Can I go VR?
You can. So guys, we're going to do VR. So I'm just going to click. Is that enough there?
Rolling, yep.
So we've got lion cubs in front of us. We've got lions behind us. Just look at that. There they are. Oh, got him by the tail. Oh, shame. Oh, that was just too precious.
Can I have to restart? We lost
No.
the cam.
Sorry about all the beeping. We're trying to do VR, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to be operating. So we're going to stick with the cubs again.
We've got one more to try out.
Oh, look at them. They're watching the amorous pair come back up towards us.
Resetting.
Oh. Are they going to try attack? Oop, hat in the way. Attack the male. Look at that. Too precious. So it is the youngest lioness that is, the male is following. It's not amber eyes. There we go. Pass right next to us. So we've got the VR going in. We've got cubs just off to the right. There's one going to walk right in front of our vehicle now. There he goes. Can't even see him. He's so close. Is he going to come out? Is he going to come back? Or is he stalking the car? I can't see. Look at that. Looking right at us. We've got more cubs to the right. And right next to us, the sun's rising in the east. We are literally completely surrounded by lions. There's lions behind us, lions in front of us, and lions to the left and right of us. Oh, just too cute. There you go. One of the mothers is coming back in. There she is. Oh, she's going to come right up to the car. Oops. There she is. Another lioness coming in. There's a male behind us that's also coming in. Oh, look at that. All the cubs are literally just in front of the car. And there's Mom. And the male's coming in to the right of us with a little one. Ow! Oh. Absolutely amazing. Here comes another lioness. Shame that young lioness wants to play with the cubs, but the male thinks she's trying to get away from him, which maybe she is. Oh, look at this. Lions, lions, lions everywhere. I don't know what she said. She's like, you need to behave. Oh, she's going to lie down. And we've got more cubs playing right in front of the vehicle. Off they go. Having a jolly time this morning. There goes another one. Down the road. And ready for, no, not pouncing, racing. We're left with two lionesses on the right, which are the mothers, with the sun rising just above them. Have we got any more cubs in front of us, Dave? No. I can't see. Okay, I'm just going to roll forward a little bit. There we go. Isn't this just a wonderful way to start the day? Sorry guys, we're just trying to figure out the VR is not stopping. We're just going to VR the whole drive, Dave.
Yes, sir.
See, I'm definitely not getting out to turn off those GoPros. Not surrounded by the Nkuhuma pride. There we go. Dave coming up right next to us on the left. There we go, look at that. One lioness, and the second one should be coming through shortly. Now, if Dave really wanted to, he could literally lean over and touch those lions as they go past. Of course, that's a bad idea. So he's not going to. They're off to join the rest of the pride. So I can see 1, 2, 3, 4 females. There could be a fifth. Can you see anything behind us? I can't see. She might be ahead of us. Ah, there we go. Hi, Andy. Andy's in Kentucky and is wondering, do lion cubs have baby? Oh, there's a fight! Oh, I love that sound. So what happened is that male decided that one of the lionesses was getting too close to his, the lioness he's feeling amorous with, and decided this one here, one of the moms, decided to give her a love tap. All the cubbies coming to make sure everything's okay. once everything is deemed okay, off they go to play. Look how she's... Oh no, she stopped it now, but she was holding her tail in quite a strange way. And the males are very, very tolerant of the cubs, but very intolerant of any adult lioness. Now, this is an incredible photographic opportunity. I hope you guys are taking advantage of screenshotting. We've got brilliant light now, and we've got cubs on the play. Now, it looks like that hippo got up and moved out of the pan. Oh, I love that sound so much. Ow, ow. Oh, the cubs are chasing Franklin to the left. Hi, Raina and Corbin, who are 10 years old. Welcome to Safari Live. This is your first drive. Well, you are spoilt. You must have brought us good luck this morning. Okay. Okay, we're going to go across to Steph, and Raina and Corbin, you're definitely bringing us good luck because he's got some big grey beasts.
We did indeed relocate the elephant herd from last night, not too far from where we left them, actually, probably about 300 yards or so. And we look like we have the front runners of the herd in the distance. You can see one or two, but these are the first two. It's a mother and a fairly old calf. I would say that this calf is probably 2.5 to 3 years old. And it would mean that mommy is probably pregnant again with the next generation. They are standing inside a round leaf bloodwood thicket, or let me rather say what's left of a round leaf bloodwood thicket. There's not much that's going on from a growing point of view with them anymore. Let's see. I can go back a little bit. No, there you go. You got it. She's busy using her toes on her front feet to kick out some plant material. I'm not quite sure what it is, to be honest. She's being very delicate there with what her trunk is playing with. She's been standing there for about 5 or 10 minutes or so, just literally walking forward a pad at a time, using her toenails to clip the vegetation off. It looks like she's lifted up a branch there and is eating some grass. Being very careful to make sure that she gets as much as she can. Let me see if I can go back a little bit, give us a bit of a better view. There you go. I think it's absolutely what she's done. She's lifted up a bush that was lying on the ground, and underneath is some vegetation that hasn't been eaten by anything. And she's now making the most of that. We call it a seed bed. Elephant, when they push over a tree, the tree acts as a catch for seeds that are blown around in the wind. And quite often you'll find a thicker grass cover inside of these bushes. And elephants are very clever. They know that underneath these seed banks lies some grass that is uncontested. They'll lift up the bush and eat the grasses that's found underneath. You can see the little one with his trunk, he wants to come and see what mom's busy eating, so he's walked up and pushed his way between that stump and her feet. Right. We're going to stay with these elephant. Those cubs are drinking at the pan. You can't miss that. Off you go.
Look at this. Absolutely incredible. There's nothing like a sunrise with the Nkuhuma pride. Look at them playing on. I wonder if they're going to climb down there and attack the nest cam. Probably not. We'll leave that to the buffaloes. Playing king of the castle. Hi, Daniel, who's in New Zealand. New Zealand, the land of the long white cloud. Daniel is wondering, do lion cubs ever kill other cubs accidentally? They do. That's one of the reasons that the females will keep the cubs away from the pride for that first sort of 8 weeks. Let me just go forward. Oh no, that's also beautiful. I'm just going to roll forward slightly so you can see the other lioness who's coming around. There we go. So I'm sure there are going to be some incredible screenshots from this morning. Oh, look at that, backlit lions. Hashtag, I love my job, Dave. What do you think?
Most agreed.
Yeah, you're in trouble. Don't play too much near the water. Crocodiles and things, you are being moved now. Oh, oh. Oh, it's just too much. Don't spend too much time around water. You don't know about crocodiles yet, young one. But Mom, I know everything. Oh, going to get in trouble again, back at the water's edge. You obviously haven't learnt. There we go. If you don't listen, you will be forced to listen. Now, even though that looks quite rough, it's incredibly gentle. Get away from the water. Oh. that is the one who's being reprimanded about going near water. Now, of course, water is quite dangerous due to the fact that most water in Africa holds the Nile crocodile. Maybe it's a lesson in water ethics and behavior. Hi, Pamela, who's in Bermuda. Pamela would like to know, do lions, swim at all? Of course they can swim, Pamela. In this area, they don't really need to swim. I have seen lions swim across the sand river before, but in places like Botswana, they swim regularly and have to swim regularly. Oh, look at that. If you don't listen, you'll be in trouble. Oh dear, that's one card done this morning. It's just been too much. Oh, I hope you guys are screenshotting for me because I'm changing cards. If you don't listen, you get carried away. Oh. Oh, in front of us, dust, cub dust. Best kind of dust. Guys, I'm just speechless. This is definitely one of the finest lion sightings I've had in many. Look at that backlighting. Off they go. This is one of those sightings that you don't even need to talk about. It's self-explanatory. Next cub to be carried. And the one that was carried away has just come back all by itself. Oh, children these days, no discipline. And straight back to the place that got them into trouble. And you can see the other cubs chasing each other down in the dry, damn. Just don't know where to look, do we, Dave? Oh, shh. Sounds like the male's about to roar. The second male. Let's go to the male and female. He's growling. As soon as that other male started almost sounding like he was going to roar. Samsung's wondering, will the male cubs start showing dominance over the female cubs? Probably not just yet, but as soon as they get big enough, they will. It's just... Let's see what's happening a little bit further down the road. Now, there is a second male. He's somewhere in there. And I'm not even joking. It is incredible. I've literally forgotten about having a man cold because I'm just so happy to be around lion cubs. So there we go. If you ever get a man cold, you need one dosage of Nkuhuma cub cuteness and you're all good. yeah, yeah, yeah. I hear you. Mom was very mean to pick you up. Oh, sorry. Unfortunately, they are behind the VR. Upset. Look like Mom was trying to pick one up again and got very upset with her. Now, it looks like this female is trying to keep her cubs as far away from the male and the youngest Nkuhuma female, who is looking ready to start mating, or not quite yet. And we're gonna get up right in front of them, and then the cubs should walk right next to us, and I will feel even better. Hi, Natasha in Ontario. Natasha's wondering, how fast can a little cub run? Well, probably faster than you or I could, Natasha. So even though they are small, they do have to escape from potential predators sometimes, so they can run quickly. Oh, here we go, incoming. They're gonna cross. Oh, look at that! Sneak between the trees. Ow! We got incoming. Oh, look at this, look, look, look. Getting ready. Complaining. Look right in front of us, Dad. By the tail. It's got it by the tail again. Shame. Bully. Oh, here they come. Here they come. Oh, don't go change direction. Oh, it seems to be a popular little gap between on that little timberti tree. And there you go, the rest. It's going up. I'm trying to at least. Oh, no, down. Trying to be a leopard. Not succeeding, so if I don't succeed, I'll bite the tree. Jump, jump. Oh, it's just everywhere we look, there's something going on. Isn't this just the absolute best? There is nothing quite like active little lion cubs. Now, are they going to set an ambush for Mom? One of the females is on her way. Look at that beautiful light on her. Now, will there be a cub ambush? She's talking. I think Mom means business. No jumping on Mom when she means business. Well, we can try. Oh, there's a tail. Oh, here come the male and the youngest Nkuhuma. Now, we haven't seen him yet, but there is another male behind us somewhere. I had a brief glimpse of him earlier. Ali is wondering, is all this line activity possibly because spring is coming? No, Ali, it's lions being lions. They'll do it at any time of the year. There we go, look. Calling. I think there's a cub missing. I think she missed the cub. It actually ran past and went down behind her. I think she's just realized now. Let's just see what she does. Okay, we're going to reposition. We're going to head down into the Mwati River. And while we do that, Steph is still with those great grey behemoths.
It's just been such a fantastically calm morning with us. I know, completely different to what you've been watching, with mother and cub interactions and lots of playing and bundling around, I'm sure. But these two elephants, this mother and calf, they definitely have just been moving from bush to bush, literally, picking off what they can. And now they're busy sharing a red thorn. Oh, the baby's just moved off onto a spike thorn. You'll probably be back right now. But this mother is just being so calm. She's literally just making sure that every little bit and piece of nutrients that she can get without moving around too much is eaten. You can see that baby there is busy trying to shovel a whole bush into his, I think it's a he actually, I haven't even double checked, into his mouth. Got his whole face stuck into the bush there, using his trunk to sort of shovel in everything that's inside that tree. I actually think that that little one is eating a creeper that's inside of the tree. Let's see if I can confirm that for you with my binos quickly. Difficult to say. No, definitely eating the tree. So, literally decided that it's too much of a distance to stand too far away. So he's put his face into the bush and is just using his trunk short distances. So Andrew, you've asked me if elephants are really scared of mice. Andrew, to be honest, I think you're not too far off the mark there. Although mice is probably a generalization for anything small and fast moving at the feet of an elephant. They're quite skittish elephants about things like that. And I would imagine that any sudden movement at their foot or around the end of their trunk will give them some alarm. I have seen them get frights at the most unbelievable things. So perhaps there is some grain of truth in that particular folklore story. I don't think it's mice in particular. I think elephants are pretty nervous of anything suddenly moving at their feet. Their eyes are pointed at the tip of their trunk and at their feet. So their whole vision is sort of where they're busy eating rather than forward like we've got. You could almost see it on this particular female. You can see the way her eyes are, they almost look closed from our position, but they're not really. They're just pointing toward where her tusk is busy using. She's busy trying to use her tusk. There you go, you can see that. Using her tusk and her trunk and her mouth to good effect there. And she needs to see what she's doing. And I have seen them get the most bizarre frights at something that just out of their periphery of their vision gives them a bit of a go, or making a funny noise at their feet or behind them. And then any startlement at their feet, so a mouse scurrying out of the bush or a rat or anything, a snake, will give them some alarm. Sometimes creating nothing more than a head shake, at other times eliciting an almost bizarrely comical run and away from the area. So I might sound a bit weird there. I'm just going to say yes, absolutely. Ali, you've asked me if tusk size varies in elephants, or is it a pretty standard size similar to how trunks are? Ali, tusk size absolutely varies in elephant, very similar, I suppose, to human hair would in a way. Tusk size is almost unique to each individual elephant. And then the way they use their tusks is also a learnt characteristic, so that gives the tusks a different shape. The vegetation that they eat will wear tusks down faster or not so fast depending on the area they go. You can see this particular female, she uses her right tusk more than her left tusk. You'll see that her right tusk is clean and shiny, and well, just the tip of it really. While her left tusk, there you can see a very good example of that. Using her tusk to break the branch down. Then genetics play an important role in tusk size and length. There are just certain elephant in certain parts of the world that just get much bigger than others. The Kruger National Park harboring some of the largest, or on average, the largest elephants out of any of the African national parks, with some of the largest tusked bulls in the world as well. Although I think Amboseli does come pretty close. And there's some of those forest elephant up in the tropics that are beautifully tusked as well. So it's genetics, vegetation, the use of the tusks individually, and then mineral deficiencies can also have an impact on tusk size. So elephants' diet plays a very important role, it would seem, as to the health of tusks. So while it won't have any impact on the length of the tusk or the potential length of a tusk, what it would do is lead to tusks becoming brittle if they don't have enough of any particular type of essential mineral, I suppose. Very often in Botswana you'll see tusked elephants that have broken their tusks off. So they're not tuskless elephants, you get them as well, but a lot of the elephant that you see in Botswana have broken off their tusks due to mineral deficiencies and diet. They're just their hardwood diets. Let's see where this female is going to go. This is the second or third time they've actually made use of this particular red thorn. They haven't damaged it at all. All they're doing is they're picking off the green leaves, where it would be so easy just to break off the branch and eat it. But they're actually taking their time to be very specific about picking off each leaf. We were actually chatting yesterday. There she uses her tusk again. And what'll that do? What that'll do over time is actually wear that tusk into a specific shape that you could use to identify this elephant in years to come. So definitely, as time goes by, keep a note of the shape and size of elephants' tusks that you see, significant elephants, and you'll actually notice that you'll be able to, after a while, start identifying animals with bizarrely wide tusks, or one tusk that's funnily shaped, or tusks that are very close together, even crossing over one another. Last summer we had an elephant cow that has a tusk that goes underneath her jaw. So it comes out and goes underneath her bottom lip. Massively long tusk. There's another elephant with a tusk that's completely reversed and points back towards her front leg. Have a look at how dexterous that trunk is. She's now completely twisted it around. There, back to normal again. There. Not knocking the tree over, not killing it, just plucking off the leaves. I would only imagine it's because she knows that this tree will recover and she'll be able to feed from something similar again. That is a very deliberate, she's very deliberately not breaking that tree. Now moving off. She's now completely gone to every tree in this little thicket, and now she's moving off to the next thicket or the next tree. And let's see, starting at the ground again, she's now picked up a branch. Quite know if it's the same tree, looks like it. Incredible. They have the most varied diet of any of the herbivores out here. The animal that comes closest is a kudu, and even kudu are only half the amount of species of trees and plants that elephants utilize. And they build up this knowledge of which trees to eat and how to utilize them, what time of the season, all through experience. Mothers and older males showing the rest of the elephants what to eat and how to eat it. And there you can see what was literally eaten 24 hours ago. So Verdi, all the way from Georgia, good evening to you. And you've asked an interesting question: is do animals that see people a lot become accustomed to them? Yes, I would say so. This particular elephant and her calf has shown absolutely no reaction to us whatsoever. And they're a little bit further away now. I'd say they're probably about 30 yards from where we are now. But when we got to them, they were no more than 5 yards from us, and they didn't show any reaction. And I would imagine that this is because they've seen cars before, and cars pose no threat to them. We come, we join them for a while, and generally speaking, we behave ourselves around them. And for that reason, over the years that she's been seeing vehicles, no threat is posed to her babies. In other areas in Africa, that's not the same. The Tembe Elephant Park borders South Africa and Mozambique. In the south of Mozambique, those elephants were very highly persecuted for their tusks at a stage, and those elephants you cannot get close to. There that baby's nursing, it looks like. Really? Yes, he is. So definitely about 2 years old then. That is incredible. Have a look at that. That's about as old as calf that you'll see nursing. I wouldn't have expected that, to be honest. I would have thought that this calf would be slightly older. So a big-bodied calf, about 2 years old. And I would presume that mom is pregnant again. This calf is about ready to be joined by a sibling. Doesn't mean that the bond between mother and calf will break. It just means that they will gradually become a little bit more separated. Even though this calf will help bring up the little one, looking after it, being a social contact. Yes, their mom's just standing there. There we go. Enough milk there. Incredible. All right. And I think at this point it's good enough. I think Brent's relocated now, or repositioned his car with those lions, and so back you go.
So we with the amorous male Scarface and the youngest Nkuhuma. Now every time she tries to rejoin the other females in the pride, he cuts her off. Oh, here comes a yawn. Oh, small yawn, baby yawn. She has turned into such a magnificent female. Now, the Nkuhumas are a really great looking bunch of lions. So Ali's asking about a mating cycle. Now, once they start mating, they'll normally mate for about 4 or 5 days, every 15 minutes. And I think she hasn't quite come into estrus yet, because we haven't seen any mating since we've been here, and we've been here for well over an hour. So she's probably not in estrus yet. And she is trying to stick close to the rest of the pride, although he keeps in between. Now, there is another male in the quarry thickets behind us somewhere. So one of the reasons that the other male is hanging around is while they're mating, this male might get a good smack from her. He might injure himself. He's not going to be feeding, so he might lose a bit of condition. And then halfway through, the other male might step in, so to speak, or chase him off. And it's not uncommon to have multiple males mating with a female during her estrus cycle. Can you hear all the cubs behind us? Ow! Ow! Oh, that cub's on the move again. Do you hear that, Dave? What is over there on the other side? So, I don't know, it almost sounded like a very, very idiotic buffalo if you wanted to wander straight down into this mess of lions. Oh, I can't see with the light, but and the rest of the pride on the move behind us. It's going to be interesting to see what this lioness is with the male, because if we look at her, you can see she's watching intently. Now, Ellen is wondering, will this male harm a cub that this lioness shows attention to? Possible but unlikely. The male lions are very tolerant of cubs, but it is always possible that they might swat one a little bit too hard and injure it. Now, a while ago, one of the Nkuhuma cubs wasn't looking too well, and looked like it had a possible broken hip or broken leg, but it turned out it wasn't too bad, and it's healed completely. I see what's going on behind me. I was hoping this lioness is going to get up and follow the others. Oh, squirrel! See how their heads popped up? There was a squirrel that just scampered down this tree and then around the termite mound. Brave squirrel. Oh, it really sounds like there's a buffalo over there. On the other side of... somewhere there, I just hear... it sounds like a buffalo scratching its horns on a bush. But you know what? I think I've spotted what it was. There's something there. I can't see what it is. It could be a francolin, Well, that's not what, so between these two trees, on the edge. So I can hear a buffalo, but I can also hear something else scratching around in there. It's probably a Franklin. But it would definitely be a suicidal buffalo to wander down here with this many lions about. Oh, is she going to move? There we go. On cue. Oh, she's clever. She's using our vehicle to try and get away from him. He's running around. Oh, sorry, girlie. No such luck. He ain't letting you out of his sight. Okay, so while we try to keep up with the lions, let's go back to Uncle Steph and the elephants.
Thank you very much, Brent. Well, this lady, let's hope she doesn't push this tree down on top of us. She's just literally walked from finishing her one bush to coming through now. Now, you being away with those lions have allowed me to do a little bit of research from our box of books that I carry. I was a bit concerned that my evaluation of that calf's age was a little bit on the lean side. And while calves are weaned completely at 2 years old, it's not uncommon for calves to suckle up to 4 years. So that calf could well be the 2 to 4 year age group. I'd say it's probably closer to 4 years old. And mom will allow a calf to suckle for up to 4 years. Can you believe that? Now, it makes sense that some calves... Oh, look into this elephant's mouth. Sorry. We've got this unique view of the elephant's teeth in her mouth. And just have a look at this. She's a little bit up. There you go. Look inside there. So get ready with your get ready with your screen grabs. We're sitting with a very unique ability to see the molars in an elephant's mouth as she opens up her mouth there. There you go. Oh, that's incredible. Have a look at that. That is so... There, you can see them in the back there. You can see every now and again, you'll see that quite deep inside. Wow. Let's see if she allows us one more look. Her folded... I never realized how deeply folded their bottom lip was, actually. It almost forms a complete inversion, with her teeth probably being below her eye level and slightly further back, her molars. Let's see if she allows us to do it again. So just back on that previous point, was that some females will actually lactate for their entire childbearing age, which can be 30 years or more. And it's not uncommon for some females to suckle other females or related females as babies. So it's not actually that uncommon to see. Let's see if we can see her teeth again. Get ready. There we go. There, in the back. And again, the tongue just coming through to grab the leaves. There, that pink, that's the tongue. Hairy bottom lip, that's how she feels what she's putting into her mouth. And then there, every now and again, their molars are sort of blackish from all the vegetation that's stuck inside of them. There, you can see it again, there you go. That's amazing. So Jess has just wanted to know what the difference is between lion parenting and elephant parenting. Ooh, Jess, where do you even start? Obviously the outcome is exactly the same, is that they want to bring up a baby to look after itself and to become an adult and to start reproduction. That's how a successful elephant makes sure that their genes is passed on to the next generation and so on and so forth. As to the method of them getting there, let's go down the pipe here with this Ellie again. It's just such a unique view. There the molars again, deep inside there. The tongue coming out. Let's see, yeah, you'll get, there you go. So you'll be able to see almost right down the pipe there. So as to the methodology, as to how they get there, I suppose you couldn't get you couldn't get much different really. Not in the animal kingdom at least anyway. Lions have lots of babies, elephants only have one. The reason is that an elephant can spend time to have, oh, look at that view. She's no more than 3 yards from us, everybody. Eating completely unfazed. Elephants spend time with their babies. They spend a long time in very, very close contact. In some cases, 50 years. And elephants, females will stay together and within contact with one another for that long. Lioness, on the other hand, male cubs are released between 2 and 2.5 years old. They go wandering. Females will be with their cubs, their female cubs at least anyway, also for their whole lives. Female cubs don't leave. Lions are, I want to say lions are instinctual. They learn how to, but they do absolutely learn how to hunt from their mothers. They learn how to hunt what's best in the area. Elephants do exactly the same with their babies. Maybe I'm going down the wrong path here. Maybe I want to say that it actually isn't too different from one another at all. And that elephant moms and lion moms are very similar to all mammal moms, really. I think I'm actually going to say that. So where my initial impression was they couldn't be further apart, I'm actually going to change that statement and say that they're actually very, very similar to one another. Things happen on a shorter time frame with lion than they do with elephant. But for the rest, they're actually very, very similar. Close proximity, contact species. They're fairly precocious. In other words, they learn from copying what adults are doing. Females will stay in contact their whole lives. Males will move away, both similar in elephant and in lion. So wow, a realization. Thank you. Now what this particular elephant is doing is now she's kicked off a piece of coppice. There we go. And that's how they eat round leaf bloodwood. They literally keep the plant coppiced, and you can see coming out the other end of her mouth is the debarked stick. So she feeds it in one end, and then you'll see how it'll actually twist in her mouth. She rolls it with her teeth and her tusks, and then it'll come out the other side of her mouth after having gone through a bit of a mincer, debarked. You can see it there popping out, debarked on the other side. And all they do is eat the bark, and they will spend hours in these thickets coppicing these round leaf bloodwoods. And for the first time this year, I actually spent time examining a thicket of round leaf bloodwood. And although it looks like a tiny plant, it's actually quite a big tree. In some cases, 0.5 meter across. Except that it's made up of these tiny sticks, and elephants keep these farms basically. They keep them coppiced, these thickets of round leaf bloodwood, they keep them coppiced so that the tree produces many of these obviously nice tasting little sticks. There she's trying to get another one. Broke it again using her foot. In the one side, using her hairy bottom lip, you can see it shining there, the hairs on her chin, to guide the branch into her mouth, pulling it in with her tongue. That's what she just did, to the teeth. If I can get your name right, I think it's Abra. You've asked me if elephants get tooth decay and if it can be potentially life-threatening with all the vegetation that they eat. They get 6 sets of molars in their life, Abra. They replace their teeth relatively frequently, with their last set of molars coming in at about 45 years of age. I am sure that they do get cavities, to be honest with you. I can't imagine that an elephant living on sticks like this wouldn't crack a molar every now and again and cause an abscess. They get abscesses at the base of their tusks. So yes, they can actually do it. Whether it's life-threatening or not, I don't really know. I've never seen an elephant dead here from an abscess in a tooth. I mean, I don't suppose it's too far out of the realms of possibility. It's not something that I've heard of commonly, though. And I think with them replacing the amount of teeth that they do throughout their life, even if it was a tooth that was slightly more decayed or slightly more cracked with an abscess, that will heal itself pretty quickly. Elephant teeth, unlike human teeth, get forced out, not from the bottom to the top like ours do, but they get forced out back to front. So the new emerging molars actually crush the existing molars against the tusks, and the teeth then fall out that way. Quite phenomenal things, elephant dentition. And while we were looking down that elephant's throat, for those of you who have managed to grab some screen grabs, we were looking at just one tooth on each side. And you'll see, if you're lucky enough to time it right, you'll see how big those teeth are. You could literally hold your 2 fists together, knuckles to knuckles. That's how big an elephant's molar is. Enormous, eh? We've now been with these elephants for, must be going on about, I'm sure, probably close to an hour now. And she literally hasn't even moved 30 or 40 yards. I'm just surprised. Have a look at that fuzz on her bottom lip. It's the first time I'm noticing the fine fuzz, not on the bottom of her lip, but actually in her mouth. And it would make sense that once she loses sight of vegetation that she picks up with the incredibly sensitive tip of her trunk, that she then places that vegetation in her mouth, and once lost sight, has a tactile grip still on vegetation, using the hairs on her bottom lip. She's not just relaxing. I don't know what she's doing over there. She's just having a rest. Suzanne, all the way from Australia, for you it's good day, or it's probably midday, past midday already. You've asked, do elephants all have the same wrinkly skin? Suzanne, I would gather that you're asking, do they all have the same colored skin, and is it the same, is it all riven like it is? I would presume that you're not asking, do they all have exactly the same patterns, but I'll answer both. They don't all have exactly the same patterns, but they do all have this grey, wrinkled, riven skin that you're seeing quite clearly evident there. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's a fingerprint. I think that is like saying the wrinkles on my face are a fingerprint for me. However, I suppose a significant scar or a significant pattern in any one area or another will definitely lead you to identify it. But they all have the same wrinkly, riven, grey-coloured skin. When elephants get wet, they actually go very, very dark grey. And especially once they dust off the sand. You don't notice how much dust is actually on an elephant until they go for a bath or until they're fighting and rubbing next to one another and you see the dust cascading off of them. So elephant do change color a little bit depending on the area they're in, and it's based solely on the soil type that you find there, the soil and the mud type. She's just having a bit of a relax. She's been feeding a long time. You can see how she's relaxed her trunk completely. You can see how much longer her trunk is than her feet actually. She's got at least an extra 2 foot of trunk on the floor there, and that's completely relaxed. That's about as long as a trunk can go, maybe a little bit longer. And she's just resting that weight. You can see how skinny that trunk has gone now. It originates from between her eyes. There's her eye coming up there, and that little bulge that you see on the forehead directly in front of her eyes, that is about where the trunk erupts from her skull. Everything between that little bump all the way down to the bottom is one big muscle. No bones on the inside. Contains a helical muscle that's unique to elephant. It's a muscle that spirals around the trunk, which allows a twisting, contracting motion. If I were to liken it to something, if you were able to shorten your leg or shorten your arm, imagine it having no bone in it, and twist it at the same time, that would be exactly what they're able to do with that particular muscle group. And then it attaches above their eyes, above that little bump that you can see there, in front of their eyes, right up to there. It's about where elephants... So back to the eye, from the bump, up a little bit, and then all the way down towards the mouth. There we go. All that is the attachment points, a very, very wide attachment base for those muscles. And it gives an elephant's skull an absolutely bizarre shape. You're welcome to go and have a look at some pictures of an elephant skull. I'll see if I actually can find one for you. Let me see if I can do that, because to see an elephant skull without tusks in it is to see something that is completely alien, to be honest with you. Alright, where am I going to find an elephant skull picture? I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. I think I may have written a check I won't be able to cash in here. Let's see if I've got one in a book. But for those of you interested, you're welcome to go and have a look while I'm busy paging through my volumes here, knowing that I probably won't be able to find you one. Go and have a look at a frontal view of an elephant's skull. And you'll see that it has no resemblance to the animal that we're having a look at right now. You'll really battle to see where the eye socket is, where the tusks are, where the trunk is. It's just a very, very bizarrely shaped head. She's actually got quite symmetrical tusks. They've got an even curve. She's not a very old female elephant, this. Jess, you've asked me if elephants experiment with new foods. I would say yes. Elephants can populate an area. They do so at roughly about 20, I think it's 5 to 20 kilometers per year. They'll populate a new area. And I would only imagine that elephant would encounter new species of plant along the way. I was lucky enough to witness a relocation of a herd of elephant in the Waterberg, and they came from the Kruger National Park, and these elephant were reintroduced into a completely different biosphere and didn't even lose a single calf to malnutrition. So I would say absolutely, they know what to eat. I would imagine that they would have their fair share of runny tummies and grumbles and groans going about. But those elephants, even to this day, are still doing fine. All right. And Kirsty is whispering in my ear that Brent has found the lions again. So without further ado, see you in a bit.
So that pair of lions actually moved up towards some buffalo, but they weren't really serious. They've just looked at them, and now they're heading back to the rest of the pride that are in the drainage line or in the river system. So let's go have a look. I think the pride's going to settle down for now, so what we might do is let's just go have a quick look, see if they go back in there, and if not, we're going to go see what else we can find. Okay, let's see. Oh, they've gone down the very steep bank. We're going to have to find our way there. Let's see if we can see them off the edge. Yes, no, that's a bit steep even for us to drive down. There they go. And if we look up to the right there, now Jeff's wondering, when a pride has recently eaten, does their behavior change? To a little bit, Jeff. They're less active, not so intent on hunting, and they will sleep a bit more, especially while they're digesting. Okay, let's try get down into this river system. Okay. Okay, we're just trying to find a spot where we can dip down. Sorry about all the noise, guys, but it is what happens when we got to go off the road to stick with the big cats. And with the elephants pushing down lots of trees, when you drive, we get a nice snack, crackle and pop as we go over the dry branches. There we go, here's a good spot. Hi, Douglas in Arizona. Douglas says, how on earth can the cubs not attract attention to themselves when they are left by themselves while the lionesses hunt? So while the adults are around, the cubs are noisy and playful. As soon as they're left by the adults, they become almost silent and they sleep most of the time. They barely move. So that's how they stop, how they don't attract attention to themselves. Okay, there we go. Whoopah. So there's one lioness on top of the termite mound. Where are the others? Let's have a look further in to the thicket. I can see some more. And I can see the cubs now. As I said, it looks like everything's slowing down here at the moment. Everyone's having a snooze. Here we go. Oh, look at that. Time to snooze. It's such a busy morning. Playing, tackling, getting our noses wet in the water. As I said, it looks like they're going to go flat now, and it is warming up nicely. It's turning into an absolutely beautiful day. After a chilly start, I think it's going to be wonderful. So I think we're going to leave the little lions and the big lions. Now, our Djuma cam watchers and zoomies, keep an eye out in case they decide to have an attempt at those buffalo. Let me know and I'll rush right back here in record time. But for now, I think we're going to leave the lions to snooze. Now, we might check on them again just before the end of the safari. But for now, I think I'm going to go see if we can find anything else. So we're going to leave the lion cubs in the most serene, cute, cuddly moment. And while we do that, let's go back to Uncle Steph and his elephants.
Now this female hasn't moved an inch, and I've got a feeling that she's just had a bit of a snooze. So we're just keeping as quiet as we can so that we don't disturb her, and we're sharing this relatively intimate moment with this particular elephant. There she's started to shake her tail again. I can see there she's coming out of it now, but she almost went into a small rocking motion, and her head dipped ever so slightly. Now, Natasha, you've asked, well, all the way from Ontario, which is phenomenal because it must be near midnight there. You've asked me, how close can you get to elephant on foot? You absolutely can get right up under elephant on foot. However, at that particular point, they're probably wanting to step on your head. A safe distance from elephant on foot will be dependent on wind direction primarily, and then how much cover or elevation you have, i.e. a barrier between you and that elephant. I've been very close to elephant, within a yard or two, but just out of trunk reach of them on rocky outcrops, on the other side of big trees. I've even climbed into a tree and had an elephant walk right underneath me. So it is possible to actually get very, very close to elephant, but these are extreme examples and not to be done flippantly. They definitely are very dangerous. Safe distance from elephant will be primarily just due to wind direction. I think even if you're standing in the open, let's see, what's the closest I've been with breeze blowing onto elephant? Probably about 200 yards away is about as close as what you'll come with the breeze blowing from me to an elephant. In vehicles though, these types of safari vehicles have posed no threat to these animals in 60 years plus. And so she learned from her mother, who probably learned from her mother, that as long as we behave ourselves and we don't get in their way and we respect the messages that they tell us. Oh, she looked like she was going to lie down there for a second. That we really no threat to them and that we can be tolerated. Elephants are of the most dangerous animals out here to antagonize. And because they're so big, quite often you miss the subtle messages that an elephant will give you that it's upset with you. I mean, it's easy to see when a lion's upset with you, the teeth come out and the eyes become all glary and they'll snarl and spit and mock charge you. But with elephants, sometimes it's as subtle as the cock of a tail in any particular direction, or a slight swaying, a deathly stillness that they go into. And these are all very subtle hints that elephants are having enough of your company. She hasn't given me the indication that she's upset with us at all. In actual fact, her calf has wandered off probably 70 yards away now. isn't in the least bit concerned that mom's having a nap over here. Elephants can go into a type of slumber, as you can see there now. I actually think she's not too far away from that, even as we speak. It's not quite full sleep, but it is a level of consciousness that is below being fully awake. So I would imagine it to being a power nap, but standing, if that makes any sense. When they do full sleep, which happens a couple of times or for a couple of hours a day, they will lie flat on the ground and sleep flat on their sides. Just see what she does. Trunk fully relaxed, head not quite hanging, but not quite far off of it either. There she's opening up her eyes again. Started to swish her tail as well. That didn't happen for about 5 minutes. So Eric, all the way from Idaho, good morning. You've asked how, with an elephant's thick skin, how resistant are they to snake bites? Eric, their skin is incredibly thick, and with snake venom needing to be injected into the tissue, I would say that although their skin isn't snake bite resistant, it's almost too thick for 90% of the snakes out here to actually penetrate the skin. I would imagine the tip of their trunk could be susceptible to something like a puff adder who's got very long fangs. Although I think with their size, if I was a puff adder, I would stay very, very still with an elephant around. I've heard reports that a king cobra carries enough venom in it to kill an elephant. In other words, the potency of the venom versus the body volume of an elephant is enough to kill an elephant in terms of toxicity and volume. Would that be similar of more toxic snakes out here? I suppose so. King cobra hasn't got the most potent venom that's out here. That belongs to the boomslang. Black mamba, cobras. Good question there, Eric. So while I think that some snakes are fully capable of envenomating an elephant to the point where it will die from envenomation, those snakes' fangs are way too short and the elephant's skin is way too thick for them to be any real danger, if that answers your question. The sun is now hot enough to be uncomfortable when we're sitting in it. Although the air, we're sitting in the shade of this knobthorn that this female elephant is resting next to. I wonder if any of you heard that low rumble there. It was just her contact calling. I think the rest of her herd has moved off. And I would expect her to become animated soon and move off after them. I can't hear any of them feeding at all anymore around us. So while she's been having a nap, the rest of her family have moved off. And that rumble that she just gave as she was coming out of her slumber was just her trying to make contact again with the rest of her herd. But while we wait for her to come out of her daydream, I think Brent has an update for you on those lions that he's with.
So as I said, keep an eye on the Djuma cam. I know they're buffalo there. The lions are probably about 200 meters away, but they are quite well fed, and it is getting warm, so I think they're going to rest up there. But there's always a chance that they might get interested by those buffalo. So what we're going to do is we're going to go check down in the south. I know Steph's up in the north, and see if we can find any leopard tracks or any other creatures that might be wondering about this wonderful place we call home. Now remember, if you have any questions, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter or questions at wildearth.tv. What a way to start the morning, though. I couldn't think of anything better. Oh, no, that's hyena tracks. Hi, Cody in New Mexico. Cody is wondering how long would it take a clan of hyena to devour a good-sized zebra, buffalo, or ox? Well, Cody, it completely depends on the clan. If you've got a clan of 5, it could take a day or 2. If you've got a clan of 100, it'll take a couple of hours. So it all just depends on the numbers. Like most predators, they are able to gorge themselves and eat probably 12 to 15 kilos of meat in a sitting, which is about 60 pounds or so. But then they'd have to digest that before they could eat again. So it completely depends on the number of hyenas that are present. Okay, so we're going to go check now down towards the southern boundary, see if there's any tracks of Queen Karula coming in. Now, those who are not sure who Queen Karula is is our dominant female leopard on Djuma, and she is nicknamed the Queen of Djuma, and she's got 2 cubs presently, a young male called Hosana, the little prince, and a young female called Xongile, exquisitely beautiful, and that she is. And I haven't seen them in quite some time, so I'm hoping to catch up with those wonderful characters. If not today, hopefully tomorrow. Hi, Anna in Atlanta. And yesterday, both James and myself saw Shadow, and we saw that wound as she is sporting on her back leg. And, oh no, he's gone. That was a diker. They don't hang around. Anna, the big cats heal very quickly, and as I said yesterday, she's not moving badly. Ooh. One for the birders. Oh, it's like the diker dashing away. There was a little striped kingfisher there. Let's see, it just landed up the road. I'm going to see if we can get another visual of it. So Anna, it doesn't look too serious, and it looks like it's not hampering her movement, and it's already mostly healed. Oh, there he goes. Well, it's going to be far away, but let's try. Okay, Dave, let me just figure out where we are from that tree, just around there. It's okay. I think there we go. Well done. There we go. Little striped kingfisher. Unfortunately, a bit far from the road, but nevertheless, for our birders, there we go. So I know James was trying to find one a day or 2 ago. So there we go, a striped kingfisher. Oh, hello. Where'd it go? Oh. Okay, on my leg, I'm going to try and make sure it doesn't move. There's a very cool little insect. Oh no! Did you see that? You see how it jumped? Yeah. That's why it's called a frog hopper beetle. Let me see if I can, I mean not beetle, a frog hopper bug. It's not a beetle, it's a bug. Where did it go? Now, I was trying to move so carefully so it didn't, but it just jumped to the back of the vehicle. I'm just trying to see if I can spot it again. So they're also called spittle bugs, and they're the ones that cause weeping wattles to weep when they feed on it, or rain trees to rain. Unfortunately, I haven't found the frog of a beetle. It disappeared. Oh no, everything's disappearing from me today. I need an implement. Where's my implement? Dave, have you moved my stuff again? I know you do, you camera operators. And I don't have fingers that small, but my pliers might work. Oh no, he's climbing out all by himself. I'm just going to have to be patient. Come on, come on. Now these particular bugs don't move too quickly. There he is. Into the light he comes. Now you can see how tiny he is. You see him, Dave? Yeah. It's a little weevil. Very cool looking weevil. I don't know how... Oh, he's tiny, isn't he? Difficult with this camera. I've got a plan. I've got a plan to get you a better view of a weevil. Let's do this. See if we can... Oh dear. Okay, let's see if I can get a close-up of it. Is that him? No, that's something else. Now, everyone always wants a big fancy camera, but one of the best quotes, and I can't remember who it's by, is the best camera in the world is the one you have with you. There we go. Maybe that's a bit better. Oh, I can't see his nose, which is what I really want to see. So there we go. That's a little weevil. Now, probably fell onto the vehicle while we were following the lions through those guarri thickets. I'm just going to see if I can get a picture of his schnoz, because that's how I know it's a weevil. Now we're going to get complicated here, or creative, depending on how you... Let's see if we... Okay. So weevils have a very distinct mouth part, and that's how we know. Okay. Not the best, it's a bit blurry, but you can see that very long, and it actually curves under little nose, or actually it's not a nose at all, it's a mouth of a weevil. There we go. I'm not sure which species of weevil, but I can tell you for sure it's a weevil, but I'm sure he's very unhappy about being on the vehicle. So come here, Mr. Weevil. See if you can climb up my finger. No, they're not very fast moving creatures, weevils. Okay, I'm going to scoot him into my hand. No. There we go. Okay, let's put him back on a bush. I'm sure he's much happier there. And he's actually, this bush is perfect because he's the same color. There we go. There he is. Bye, Mr. Weevil. Okay. So it's not always about the big hairies and scaries. We do take time for the little creatures as well. And of course, out of all of us here at Safari Live, the man who knows the most, oh, what was that moving there? About the little creatures. Ah, it's an Inyala. We'll have a look at them now. Now, Hayden was wondering what this reddish leaf was. There it is. Hayden in California. There's your reddish leaf. It is a red bush willow. Now, these leaves are not red because it is winter. These leaves are red because the elephant killed the tree. So those leaves are actually dead. And there we go. That is a red bush willow. You can see where it gets its name from. So in the autumn here, they turn this wonderful red color. Okay, let's see where those nyala are. I think they've disappeared into the river. Oh, no, unfortunately, they have disappeared into the little river system to the north of us. So while we continue to see what other big and small creatures inhabit the wonderful Djuma Private Game Reserve, let's go to Steph with the biggest of them all.
This young bull elephant, and excuse me whispering, but we're no more than 3 yards away from this young bull. And he's allowed us into his space here while he's busy looking for grass underneath this greenthorn tree. And he's just so relaxed. I mean, you can have a look at his back feet. You'll see that he's even crossed his legs. Absolutely no concern with us here whatsoever. And it's just such a privilege to be this close to a wild African elephant. Basically, we can smell his breath when he exhales. It's this most wonderful herby smell. Very similar to a very strongly scented herbal toothpaste. That's what elephants' breath smells like. Contrast to other smells that they produce, depending on the year, the time of the year at least anyway. Marulas are going to fruit again in February. Look, he's now reversing up to us a little bit. Why I'm speaking softly, I mean, we parked in a 4,000 pound car 3 yards from this elephant. He absolutely knows we're here. But I just want to keep our tone and our mannerisms nice and calm, and with a whispered tone and with no fast jerky movements. He won't be alarmed and move off. Let's see what he does. Being this close to elephant takes So James Richard, you've asked me generally how long will elephants nap for when they're standing. I think it's relative to that particular time of day and that elephant, to be honest with you, James. I wouldn't imagine it's for more than 20 minutes. I've never seen them nap for longer than that, standing at least anyway. That said though, bull elephant, especially during the heat of summer, will stand and sort of rest underneath trees for what seems like hours on end. But my feeling is, rather than napping, that they're coming into and out of this sort of semi-sleep at intervals. Otherwise they just lie down, really. You can have a look at this. This is a young bull elephant, still associated to the herd, so he's anywhere between 12 and about 18 years old. I'd say from the size of his tusks, he's going to be a big boy one day. He's got some decent amount of vegetable juice staining on his tusks already. That's a mixture of mud and vegetable juice that stains their tusks that color. But he's not a very big elephant. I'm sitting inside our Land Rovers, and if I had to sit up straight, I'm probably at the height of his back. So he's probably about 8 foot tall there at his hip. Maybe a bit shorter than that. Weighing around about 2,000 kilograms and 4,000 pounds. So still a youngster by all accounts. I wouldn't say that he's probably closer to 12 than 15. So Chloe, you've asked me what the average size of an elephant is when born. They are 200 pounds when they're born, about 100 kilograms, Chloe, and probably about the size of, let me see what I can give in the likeness to, a big St. Bernard, A big St. Bernard dog or a sheep would probably be the thing I can closest give you. So a full-grown sheep or a big St. Bernard dog would be about the size comparison that I could give you. Ooh. You better hold your breath now, Xander. That definitely wasn't his breath he was exhaling at us over there. He's going to be an impressive guy one day, I think, when he grows into his tusks. So I'm going to stick by that. I think he's closer to 12 than he is to 15. Still associated to the herd. Got a few more years left with aunties and mommies and uncles. Well, cousins, I should say, not uncles. Cousins and siblings, aunties and mommies. He will then gradually fall further and further behind the herd, keeping to himself. Quite often these young elephants join much older elephant to learn from them for a few years, and he will become a solitary wanderer by the time he's 30 to 35, and in his prime between 35 and 45 years of age. After that, it's a slow decline, even though his tusks grow exponentially, or will carry on growing exponentially, to about 55 years of age, and that's around about as old as elephant get in the Kruger National Park, 55 to 60 years old. And the reason for that is the type of vegetation that occurs in the Kruger National Park wears their last set of molars away in a 10-year span. So between 45 and 55, the elephant will go through their last set of teeth, and after that he will be confined to the riverine areas, to the swampy areas, eventually dying in these areas and then scattered. So Anna Marie, you've asked me what my closest description of what an elephant in must smells like. I presume you're talking about the secretion from the glands that drips from their penile sheath, Anna Marie. It's the most pungent smell that you can get out here. It travels for ages. It's got a sickly sweet smell. You can't really liken it to anything. All I can tell you is that initially, when you first start drawing breath in, it's a very sweet smell, and you can't help but inhale a bit deeper. And at that point, it becomes a sick smell, almost a cloying smell that sticks to your nasal cavities and your palate almost. That's about it. I'm sure James could explain it. His command of the English language is a lot better than mine, but I can only really describe it as sort of a sweet smell initially, ending in this sick, cloying, pungent, sticky smell after that I can't quite explain as to what it smells like. Let's have a look at the thorns that this elephant is just piling into his mouth. They're a Y-shaped thorn. In other words, one single thorn branches out into two spikes. And just when he picks up this leaf, let's see if he picks up another branch. Just have a look at the size and the robustness of these thorns that he is putting. There you go. You can see those thorns. And that's a young branch. And he is just piling them into his mouth. We were privy to witness the inside of an elephant's mouth a little bit earlier on. And they've got this soft pink tongue and a bony palate and these fluffy lips. Doesn't seem like there's any... right. Sorry. You're off to Brent, who's got a bird before it flies away.
It is a brilliantly beautiful bird called a golden-breasted bunting. And you can see why it's called a golden-breasted bunting. And it's just warming itself in this chilly winter's morning. And isn't that gorgeous? Unfortunately, there's one little stick. I don't want to move the car in case it flies away. What if I do this? How's that, Dave? I don't want to start the car because it'll fly away. There we go. The brilliance of a golden-breasted bunting. It's a little seed eater, so it's going to be struggling at the moment. So grass seeds, and probably will take insects if the opportunity arises, but will mostly feed on seeds. Oh, that is stunning. A little chip. Now I'm just looking around to see if there's others, and quite often they are in bird parties. Well done to Aaron in New Zealand. The striped kingfisher was bird species number 100. So Aaron, nice. You've got to the century. Hopefully before the year's up you'll get to the double century. Just so pretty. I do love my birding. Oh, there we go. And the one thing I do love about the buntings as well is that face mask. So it's one of the things most of the buntings, or all the bunting species have, is that wonderful black and white around the head. Now the two bunting species we get here is, of course, this beautiful golden-breasted. We also get a cinnamon-breasted bunting, and as one of our long-time and favorite viewers, Gracie, calls it the cinnamon bun bird. And this is the cinnamon bun bird's cousin. Oh, just, it's being so nice. Normally they take off in a second, but doing some preening for us. I hope you guys are getting some good screenshots. I'm going to snap a picture quickly. Oh, off it goes. Oh, just in time. Absolutely stunning. It has been the most wonderful morning so far. Even the striped kingfisher, even though it was a bit far, he didn't disappear. Often we're like, gone. And I was convinced that that bird was going to fly before you came to us. That happens so often. But luck seems to be with us this morning. So the reason I'm actually heading here, I was heading towards the southern boundary, but I heard a squirrel alarm calling around here. Hi, Anna. Now, Anna is talking about a truly South African product that is all over the world. It's called rooibos tea. Now, rooibos is Afrikaans, and what it means, red bush. And Anna is wondering, do we get it in the Sabi Sands? Could I please show it if we do? We don't, Anna. It is Western Cape endemic, so it grows in the mountains around Cape Town, specifically in the Cedarburg. And it has been used in traditional medicine for many, many years. You can mash them up and use it as a poultice, so something to put over a wound, and it has said to have lots of different healing qualities. Now, from the birds to the buck. Well, not really. It's an antelope. And a nice little herd of kudu. We're going to try and get a bit closer to them. Just have a look if there are any nice big males. So far, it just looks like some females and some sub-adults. Oh, and some pigs. Warties. Hello, warthogs. Young male kudu. And you can see there's another young kudu lying up on the other side behind, warthogs in between, and some more adult females closer to us. And there those. Oh, there's oxpeckers as well. Oh, I didn't see which one that was. I'm pretty sure it was a red-billed, just judging by the size. Oh, there's another one there. Well, Andrew's wondering what animal is the most friendly in the bush. Now, Andrew, I'm not quite sure what you mean, but to human beings, the answer is none. Certain animals do become habituated to you, like dwarf mongoose, for example, but most of them will try to steer clear of us, especially if we're on foot, since we are the dominant diurnal predator. And those wonderful big pink ears acting as radar dishes to try to pick up any potential threat. So, from an even-toed ungulate, the kudu, to an on-toed ungulate with Steph.
Yeah, Brent's actually very right there, from his even-toed ungulate with this cloven hoof to an odd-toed ungulate, the single-hoofed zebra. This is the plains or the Birchall zebra, the only zebra that we find here in this particular area, and the largest of all the zebra. And he is a magnificent zebra. Now, zebra always look round and fat and healthy and sleek. And a very good indication of their general health is their mane. And this particular zebra looks like he's starting to develop a bit of a floppy mane. Doesn't look as stiff and erect as what it should be. They normally got these quite bristly-like manes. He's got a bit of a hairstyle. I don't know if it's quite a hairstyle that he's going with, or you do get zebra with some very long manes. His mane looks particularly fluffy today. Might just be my imagination, but he definitely got a longer mane than I'm used to seeing on most zebra. Here on his rump, you'll see between the two solid bars of black, you'll see a shadow stripe that is typical and unique to the Birchall zebra. And then an interesting question. In his armpit, you'll notice the answer to this particular question. Is a zebra white with black stripes or black with white stripes? I like to believe that a zebra is white with black stripes, because you can see on the inside of his foreleg, in his armpit, and there at his back leg, you can actually see the white underbelly with the black stripes starting. Kirsty says that she agrees. Good for you. Now, difficult to actually sex these guys, to be honest. I think I'm looking at a stallion. It'll be quite difficult to see when we look between the legs on the belly to look for a penile sheath or two udders. And this particular zebra is a male, so a stallion. Another nice way of looking is directly underneath the tail. Because the zebra's pelvis is slightly wider, a female zebra's pelvis is slightly wider for facilitating childbirth, a male zebra's pelvis isn't. And their bum cheeks, for lack of a better word, are nice and tight for males and are slightly spread for females. And is really the only sure way in a herd of zebra to say the difference between a male and a female. This particular zebra is not on his own. There are other zebra ghosting through the bush on either side of us, but it's not a particularly large herd. Now, a lot of the programming that we see on TV shows us massive herds of zebra, and that is on the plains of Tanzania and Kenya, where we have large, very large concentrations of animals for two reasons. One is that the ground is very, very flat there with no hills or forests or rivers breaking the area. Two is they have, on the equator, temperate climate, lots of rain. They have 2 rainy seasons in a year, a big wet and a short wet. And it's coupled with incredibly fertile soils. There's a lot of volcanic ash in those particular areas, the Serengeti in particular. So good quality soils, direct sunlight, lots of rain, wide open plains with no geological feature breaking it up, and you've got the recipe there for some of the largest collections of animals on the planet. Kruger National Park obviously is quite hilly, lots of thick bush areas, thick bushed riverine beds, thickets, rocky outcrops. The fact that we only have a short rainy season, just 3 months a year, not a long rainy season. We are at about 22 to 24 degrees of latitude south, which means we're not on the equator, so we don't get direct sunlight. And of course, we are not on volcanically rich, we're on volcanic soils here. The soils here are granitic, but they are not volcanic ash, which tends to be a lot more fertile for some reason. I'm not too sure exactly what the reason is. And so the herd sizes in the Kruger National Park are much smaller. So to put it into a number for you, the Kruger National Park has about 10 head of game for every hectare of its surface area. Places like the Ngorongoro crater have up to 100 head of game per hectare. Incredible, eh? One thing I will say about the Kruger National Park, and having visited most other African national parks, is that the Kruger National Park has the most consistently good game viewing out of any of the national parks, and it has the most diversity. So from a diversity point of view, and this is just general diversity, I don't know about exact biodiversity, but general diversity and consistently good game viewing, I haven't visited personally another game park in Africa that can offer what the Kruger National Park offers. I love that 4-head blaze on a zebra. It's just the most interesting pattern for me. Definitely frontal view of a zebra there, exactly that pattern on the forehead for me is the most striking of any of the large African mammals. That exact shot that you've got there. Just a superb coloration. So unique amongst the African mammals. This wild horse. There are a couple of different species of zebra. I know we go through the show every now and again where we haul out the books and we show everyone the different species of zebra. There are Hartman's Mountain zebra and Grevy zebra and the Birchall zebra, and then I think there's one other one there. I'll have to haul out my book to tell you right now. But there are a couple of they don't occur right here. You have to go further down into the Western Cape, close to Cape Town, to see our other zebra. Now, Charles, you're looking at this robust zebra. I'm sure this is where your question comes from. You've said, how hard can zebra kick? Charles, I've seen a zebra kick a lion weighing 400 pounds in a complete somersault. So that'll give you an idea of how hard they can kick. Take a 200-pound cement bag and punch it as hard as you can. And if it does a full somersault, that's about as hard as a zebra can kick. So incredibly difficult. Or incredibly hard. And it's a short, choppy motion. It doesn't have a very long build-up. So in other words, the zebra doesn't tuck his legs under his belly and then kick out. They literally, from standing, like you're watching his legs now, his back legs, from standing, they flick out their back leg and almost horizontal. They don't go higher than horizontal. They actually have to kick up off their back leg first if they need to kick higher than horizontal, And that horizontal level, if you were to extend it out from the back, is at a lion's face level, about. So an incredibly hard kick. And you can see those hooves, they are sharp-edged. I've not often, I mean, obviously lion eat a lot more and kill a lot more zebra than what zebra kill lion, but I have seen a lioness's jaw broken by a zebra before. She was kicked on the point of her jaw and it snapped her lower mandible in half. It repaired itself, but she had a skew bite for the rest of her life. Watch the almost prehensile top lip that this zebra has got. Grabbing what little grass it can. Not quite a trunk, but funnily enough to be comical. And anyway, he didn't like us looking at his top lip. I think Brent is absolutely standing by at the moment to give an update on what he's been up to.
So we're on the southern edge of our traverse area, trying to see if there's any sign of Queen Karula, and looking at all the wonderful little things and all the little birds just seem to be. You got him, Dave? Oh, there he goes. Come land closer. Good little guy. There it is, little crombeck. Oh, they're so quick. On the little acacia there, Dave. Got a nice little bird party going on around us here. Multiple crombecks. Southern, there we go, there's another crombeck. And a southern black tit. It's going to pop out. You got him, Dave? The black one there. Where's he gone now? There we go. Very distinct little bird, very noisy little bird. And there you go, that little tilt. Whenever you hear that, you know there's a tit around. Oh, he went up. And southern black tits are almost always in larger bird parties. What else can we see? They just roll down the road a little. What else have we got? And there's the rest of the bird party up ahead. Just going to very slowly sneak up on them. Looks like we've got some helmet shrikes as well. Oh, they're on the move, unfortunately. Yep. And, yep, you see them there, Dave? Fluttering around in there. Right, let's have a look. There. There we go, a white crowned helmet shrike. And it's off. Oh dear. Well, along with the bird party, there is the fluffy waterbuck. It's just the one nice thing about when you're looking for tracks, you go so slowly, you notice lots of different things around you. A waterbuck. Unusual to see them completely by themselves, and there's probably one or two around that we're not seeing. Yeah, what's she eating? Looks like she's eating the last Eragrostis stalk left. Now, those long stalks like that are not very nutritious, but when there's nothing else about, oh, look at that. Yum, yum, yum. Probably not so yum, but any little bit of nutrition in this drought is worth it. Hi, Kelly. Welcome to Safari Live, Kelly. Kelly is a new viewer, so great to have you on the back of the world's largest safari vehicle, Kelly. Now, Kelly would like to know, how often does it rain? Well, we are in the middle of the worst drought since about 1992. But normally, Kelly, our rainy season is from November to April. We do often get little bits of rain in the winter months as well, but not normally too much. And then from about the end of April to the end of October is very dry. Sometimes we get rain in May, so I suppose you could say middle of May is the end of the rainy season. And, oh, excuse me. And then it's very, very dry for our dry season, which is we're in the middle of or towards the end of the dry season now, but it's been exacerbated by the drought. Our average mean rainfall in this area is normally between 350 and 450 mils a year, and this year I think we've had 120, so very, very little. But drought, like flood, is natural and part of the system out here. Okay, so let's, and a pretty little bird, you got them there, Dave. There he is, a little yellow-fronted canary. All the birds seem to be posing for you today, Dave, except the old helmet shark. I think he's your nemesis. Oh, I took a picture of a branch. They've popped onto the ground. There we go. Let me get my head out of the way. Scuttling about. You got him?
Yep.
Here we go. Oh. So again, little seed eaters, and they're not. It looks like there might be multiple species on the ground there. No, that's also another canary. There you go, hear that? That's a little canary call. I think I'm going to set myself a bird challenge. So every bird we identify, I'm going to try and get a picture of. We can make a Safari live bird book. Okay, so pretty little ones. And I was hoping there might be some petilias and waxbills often feed alongside the canaries. Also little seed eaters, going with the whole safety in numbers. I'm going to try, they might fly, but I'm just going to try roll a bit closer to them. Oh no, off they go. It was worth a try. Shamsang says, how difficult is it going to be to see wildlife when everything is lush and green and grassy and leafy, or leafy and grassy? It is more difficult, but the animals are always here. We just have to work a bit harder. Okay, ooh, what we got there, Dov? It's my nemesis species. I'm at war at the moment with squirrels. Oh, there goes the squirrel, but the squirrel has led us to a beautiful little bird. Well, there's the go away, squirrel. I don't like you. You keep eating my biscuits. Now, all the birds to the right. Okay, now zoom and to the right of that fallen tree. A little bit to the left. That one there, that thicket there. Now, where's it gone? It was hopping. There we go. Oh. Didn't see it, Kelly. I think from behavior it's a chagra. Let me just try get a bit further forward. Now, of course, the reason I'm warring with squirrels at the moment is because of the drought. and they're also hungry. So if I forget to put any of my little treats away, it immediately gets, oh yay, there we go. Okay, you see him, Dave? Very beautiful, very cool little bird. Oh, out is the bottom of the tambuti. There. Is it the back up a bit? There. Oh, down. Here we go. Look at that. Now that's a little robin. And it's James's favorite bird. The white-browed scrub robin. Is it? I think it is. Yes, it is. There we go. Sitting beautifully now. The white-browed scrub robin. Now, these robins are always difficult to get pictures of because they are what you call skulkers. So they flit around in thickets, skulking about, very seldom sitting nice out in the open. There we go, beautiful little guy. Beautiful voice. So, that white and proud scrub robin has inspired me to go in search of the white-throated robin of the Mawati River. So while I make my way down there, let's go back across to Steph and see what he's up to in the north.
I think I can actually help out with Brent's search for a white-throated robin. Let's see. They love these thickets of tambuti trees, and I think if we are lucky, if we spend a little bit of time right here, we may even get to see one. So these are mature tambutis. We're now looking over the edge of Buffelshoek Dam. This is now the other side of the water to Buffelshoek Dam, and being up as high as where we are puts us in the canopy with these trees, and it's in exactly these thickets that you find those robins that Brent was looking for. Not a very common bird out here, I must be honest. I think he's being ambitious, but then that is the hallmark of Brent Leo Smith, and thankfully for it. So let's see if we can see any sort of movement in here. So what I'm doing, and what you should be doing, is scanning for any flicker of movement in the canopies. They're a shy bird. They love to fly from the base of a tree into a thicket and then move through that thicket looking for insects, and then they'll quickly make a dash across to the next tree. I don't know about you, Xander, but I think I've seen more life on the moon than in this thicket at the moment. Doesn't mean that there's nothing here. I'm hearing francolins. I got squirrel making an alarm call. So there's something actually hunting in here, and that could actually be the reason why there's so little movement. If there's a little goshawk or a sparrowhawk hunting this drainage line, it would mean that it would create sort of confusion and birds would go into hiding. What I'm looking for in these tambutis, in addition to the birds, is the fact that we're very, very close to the tambutis pushing out their flowers, and then their seeds, and we're not far away from the jumping bean season. The tambuti seed gets infected, for lack of a better word, by the caterpillar of a type of moth. And this caterpillar, for some bizarre reason, flicks and jumps around, creating the beans or these seeds that jump around on the floor. And at the base of these tambuti trees, the floor literally crawls for 2 or 3 weeks a year while the jumping bean season is in full swing. And it's just a sight to see, I must be honest. They're in full swing about the end of November. The last 2 weeks of November, first week of January, first week of December. Gee whiz, these chronology that's going on in my head at the moment. So last couple of weeks of November into the first little bit of December is when the jumping bean season is. Still nothing, Anna. No, nothing. All right, and on we go. No use wasting time combing an empty thicket. Okay. So Betty, good morning. You've asked if the tortoises and terrapins that we have here would migrate or move on to find other sources of water. Tortoises, no, they won't do that, but terrapins definitely will do that. Terrapins will move from one water body to another. And although a portion of your question had to deal with overcrowding, does it create overcrowding? I suppose it would, but overcrowding relative. I haven't seen terrapins living on top of one another or piled on top of one another like you sometimes see catfish. I haven't seen that here. So I would say that it's probably high population numbers, but in terms of actual volume of terrapins in any given pond, it's not like we're going to be seeing tens of thousands of them in the last pools of water. And then they, of course, can also go into a sort of slumber similar to tortoises. So when there's really nothing going on, they will bury themselves in the mud, keeping a little breathing hole, and literally settle in and wait until the rain starts again. That they can also hide underneath stumps, they can hide in holes. I know of where a tortoise is busy hiding out in a hole on the power lines, and I can't wait to get out there again to actually go and see if this increase in temperature, increase in the length of our days here has had an effect on this particular tortoise. It's the first tortoise in all my years of guiding that I've actually found a hiding place of. And so far, for the last 3 months, that tortoise hasn't moved a single scale on its body or a foot. It's just had its head stuck in this hole. I'm actually hoping it's not dead, but I'm sure it isn't. Right, so now we're back onto Buffelshoek Cutline. Now the interesting thing is I expected that those lions that you were with today came from Buffelshoek, and their tracks do come out on the road, very close to where we are now, not close to where we saw those vultures from a bit earlier. And on top of all of that, a male lion came walking straight through the middle of Djuma, and I found his tracks at Buffelshoek Dam when we were with those elephants on Yala Road. So a male lion walked straight through the middle of Djuma last night, walked down this road where we're walking right now, exactly the path that we're looking at now, met up with the rest of the pride at a point, and then ended up roaring their heads off for most of the night, keeping me awake from around about 11 o'clock. Until this morning. I think the last time I heard them roar was around about 4 o'clock this morning, to when you saw them at the dam. And I'm sure that they're just going to rest and relax for the rest of the day. Let's have a look at this knobthorn tree, Xander, if you don't mind. I'll see if I can go backwards a little bit. I'm sure Brent and James and Jamie have shared a lot of these flowering knobthorns with you. Such a celebration. It means that spring, for the trees at least, is finally here. And over there is a knobthorn growing on the side of a termite mound that is fuzzy. That's how I like to describe a flowering knobthorn. It's fuzzy, and you'll notice that it gets this reddish tinge to it. In the background there, eggs a bit higher, that tree there, yeah. All those little, you can see those little filaments on the end of every branch. Those finger-length red filaments, that creates that fuzzy look to a tree, and all of those are flowers. So what happens is the flowers come out, they look like sticks, dried sticks, and then all of a sudden, in the space of a 24-hour period, the whole tree erupts in flowers. And you can see the top right-hand corner, there are some of the flowers that have erupted. There we go, in the middle now. Some are flowering, some have burst into flower, and that's about the best way that I can describe it, is those little filaments burst into that yellow flower, and the tree literally just gets covered in them. It takes me back every single year, without fail. It takes me back to my very, very first guiding experience. In actual fact, my very first experience in the Kruger National Park. I was on my selection camp in the Kruger National Park in August of 1998, and it was the first tree that I learned on this particular selection course. I knew nothing. I didn't know a single tree or a single bird. I knew perhaps what a dove looked like, and a marula tree maybe. And I remember our guide trainer or our selector at that particular stage saying, this is a knobthorn tree. It looks like an ice cream this time of the year. And it was exactly what it looked like. These knobthorns grow in these particular ice creamish shapes. And these trees were just covered in flowers that year. Since then, I haven't seen an eruption of flowers quite so abundant, but then it could just be my clouded brain just sort of romanticizing the whole thing. But anyway, that is a knobthorn, and it's flowering, and I'm very happy at this time of the year for that. Anyway, so off to Brent you go. He's got an update for you, and we'll catch up before the end of the show again, I'm sure.
We are in search of the white-throated robins of the Mawati riverbed. So far, no luck. But hopefully, on our journey down the river, or up the river in this case, we will get some luck with one of my favorite birds here on Djuma. Often heard and seldom seen. Dave was actually with me the first time we ever put one on camera. It was hard work. They're very much a skulker, flitting about in the thickets. We're about through the Mawati. Hi, Lynn. Lynn says she hasn't seen a guinea fowl. Have they moved off? No, not necessarily, Lynn. They're just, with the drought, they'll be moving quite a lot. We normally see them, or a nice flock of them, around Sydney's waterhole, which is always a good place to check. I haven't been up there for a while. Now, what have we here? Queen Karula, you naughty little minx. When did you sneak into the Mawati? So if we have a look, these footprints in the riverbed here are of Karula, or a female leopard, but in this part of the reserve it's almost certainly Queen Karula. So wouldn't it be nice to find Queen, oh, and there are cub tracks as well, it looks like. Where did you go? She went to swap sides. I'm not sure if that was a cub track or a civet crossing. Let me just... It'd be nice to find her with a kill hanging in a tree with Xongile. Oh, she's left. Don't know she's there. Xongile and Hosana draped over a branch or three. Okay, she's left the riverbed. Okay. I'm just going to keep checking down, see if she pops back in. Otherwise, I'm going to head back out of the Mawati. Where are you hiding, madam? Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about the white-throated robin. Hi, Penelope. Penelope is wondering, have we seen any ground hornbills? I haven't seen them recently, Penelope, but I've heard them in the early morning. Do, 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 do. Beautiful call. Okay, so while we try figure out where the Queen of Djuma has gone. Oh, leopard cub. I knew I saw cub tracks. There we go. It looks like Hosana. And there's Karula. Yes! Now, I can't see whether she's got a kill yet, but yay! stations located Karula and Mampimpan in the Mawati, between Bateleur Road and Mamba Road, about halfway between the two. Make your way. Oh, isn't this exciting? Yay! I haven't seen them in so long. Well, let's try. Get a better view. Oh, the Queen delivers when you need her to. Okay, I hope she's got a kill here. That would be even better. Now, I'm just checking up in the trees. So I've only seen one cub so far. I can't see any meat, but that doesn't mean there isn't. Ah, there's the other cub. There is meat. See behind. Standing by. So, sorry, Andrew, just stand by too, and I'll get back to you. Okay, let me just have a look. Something small, and it's almost already done. So it might have been a small duiker or a small steenbok. I'm trying to look in the tree. There might be more meat in the tree, but I'm not seeing any. Very small, whatever it was. Excuse me. Sorry, I just need to let Andrew know. So Andrew, in the Mawati, just to the south of Bateleur Junction, there is Djuma here, but it looks small and nearly finished. It's both Mampimpans and Karula. FM in the Mawati itself. There she is, our wonderful Queen of Djuma. Sorry, I'll try and not die. James Richard says, this drive definitely deserves the banned word epic. Well, Dave, it seems like we've had all the cat luck today. So we've seen... Oh, what's the little one heard? I'm hoping there's more meat up in a tree somewhere that I can't see. But, I mean, just looking at that is whatever it was very small. Can't exactly see what it is just yet. Morning Glory says, my gosh, these cubs have grown. And that they have. Oh, it's that go away birds keep distracting her. And the Queen looking ever so regal, lying next to an elephant dropping. Oh, it's a tired kitty. So I'm trying to think now. I know James and I have both driven the Mawati many times over the last few days. Pretty sure this happened last night. And I said whatever it is must have been quite small. Now all we need is the white-throated robin to pop in above Karula. This is good white-throated robin habitat. Sorry guys, just on the radio for a second. Standing by. Okay, so while I deal with the Game Drive radio, let's go across to Uncle Steph.
How lucky is that? Brent just has that exact luck there. Congratulations, Brent. I just have to be the first one to congratulate you, I'm sure, and I'm sure you are enjoying it all as well. We've passed the most unbelievable concentrations of direction of where those lions have holed up today. I'm wondering if we wouldn't be lucky. Keep your eyes open on the Djuma pan today. If those buffalo are heading towards the water and those lions catch sight of these buffalo, you might be in for a little midday chase, depending on how energetic those lions are feeling. Not uncommon this time of year for lion to hunt during the middle of the day, and being opportunistic, any opportunity that they get, they will usually try and capitalize on. And those buffalo were quite skinny, shame. And we were just sitting here, myself and Xander, busy talking about the fact that they have about another 60 days, at least in my opinion, before the grass really starts to erupt out here in any sort of meaningful mouthfuls. And you just have to wonder sort of what is the resilience of these animals. They have to be resilient, otherwise we wouldn't have any animals here. Africa is a very drought-prone place. But you just sort of have to wonder on what can they survive and for how long will they be able to do that. It's going to be one of those questions that are perennially asked until the drought breaks here. And can you imagine what will happen if the drought carries on for another year? Predictions are that it's going to be quite wet this coming year, but may very well stay dry for another year or two. Can you imagine? There's evidence of very... Oh, hold on. Kevin, you've just asked me, I had to break off my train of thought there because it was just such an uncommon question to be asked. You asked, as a manager of all the staff, how do I handle all my kids? Kevin, to be honest, this team is so full of professionals and people that are at the top of their game. It's a fairly easy thing to do. I say that as lightly as I can. We all have our jobs to play, and everyone here steps up to the plate equally. It's one of the most professional, one of the most skilled, one of the most dynamic teams I've ever worked with in my life. And for that reason, fairly simple. No kids in this team here, Kevin. But on that note, and because we are heading out towards home and you've got a much better sighting than watching Buffalo's cut line unfold in front of you, I'm going to say goodbye from myself and Xander. Thank you very, very much for all your support today from our side. I look forward to this afternoon safari, and we will see you again soon.
Okay, now little Hosana has spotted something. I'm not sure what it is. Let me just have a look behind Dave. What's behind you, Dave? That's caught his attention. No, I think it might have been a bird. Oh, he is going to be a magnificent boy as he gets bigger. Not that he's not magnificent at the moment. He is just too perfect. I can't help but take a photograph. The little prince. Oh. Now he's only about 7 foot away from us. Isn't this just the best way? And I've again forgotten about my man flu. It seems cubs are the best cure for the man flu. And Penelope says, just look at that sweet face. I agree. Speaking of that, Penelope, I am going to take a picture of his sweet face. Maybe more than one. Now, Judy is wondering about the thorn that was in Karula's eye, and as I predicted, it is gone. You can see it's actually on the other side of her, but it is not there at the moment. So, and little Xongile is munching away on what's left. And hopefully Karula's in to stay for a longer period. Oh, yes, she's up. Looking for scraps. There we go, that answers the question. That looks like a diker's leg. Now, with 2 hungry cubs, it's not surprising that it's been devoured in a night. Oh, just too beautiful. I might have to treat Final Control this morning after drive. What do you guys think? Should I bring Final Control? Should I let them out of their cage? Well, let's have a vote. If you think we should let Final Control out of their cage and bring them after drive to have a look at the leopards, let me know. Hashtag Safari Live. Or send us an email, questions at WildTV. Final Control is complaining bitterly in my ear at the moment. Muhaha. And what a drive it's been. I think in terms of sightings today has been spectacular. From the minute weevil to lion cubs running about, to lion cubs being picked up and dragged. And what a fitting way to end with Queen Karula and her litter. Absolutely stunning. So as we arrived, little Hosana, where he is now, actually started stalking the car for fun. Now, Final Control says, all the viewers say, yes, let them see the cubs. I don't know. Do you believe, Dave? Nah, I think Final Control's fixing the facts. Just stand by one, Mike. So Sharon says, yes, only, especially if we let James squeal in these sightings. James is a bit of a squealer. I know, I go, a lot, or, yes, but no. What an exciting morning, and what an exciting sunset safari planned. We've got lions, we've got leopards, and we've got everything in between, from weevils to golden-breasted buntings. So it's been wonderful, but from Dave and myself, I'm going to let you enjoy the last visual of Hosana, the little prince.